Satisfy your need for happiness through curiosity with the Ranveer Show. You want to share some experiences you've had along the journey?
Several experiences, but I think the most recent one is I was in Dubai writing my book. My sixth book is about the Lalita Sahasranama. Because the Lalita Sahasranama is thousand names of the Devi, and it is absolutely the most ecstatic poetry that I have ever read in my life. And I have a master's in English literature, so that connection with literature and poetry. And I was researching on one specific line, which is Sinjana Mani Manjira Mandita Shri Padambuja, which talks about Mata and the anklets which she wears, which are filled with precious stones and rubies, and how she blesses with her feet. Because she's so powerful that just a blessing from her big toe is enough to give us bhoga and moksha and everything in between. And that evening, I go for a walk and I find an anklet lying on my path. The same day when I'm researching about, the story of her blessing with her feet. So small things like this, which for believers, it's quite serendipitous. For people who say it's a coincidence, so be it. Because there are two ways of approaching this world. One is that you think of everything as a miracle, and one is you think everything is profane, everything is just what it is.
In my experience, when you tune into the former, life really begins to shape up very magically.
It unfurls before your eyes, and the magic begins to put itself out there for you to see.
What's that quote? Magic exists for those who are willing to uh, search for it. I think
To
there's a,
believe, yeah, something of that kind. I'm also not familiar with
it's very Harry Potter-esque.
it.
You believe it's out there,
Right.
things really start happening in your life.
True.
And I've seen that as long as your abhyasa is on, lots of things happen.
Yes, a lot of things happen. And in my own career, I think 2018 was when my practice started. I was at the height of my career for the years following that, and I was doing my work plus the sadhana plus writing my books, and things were really going great guns. But it doesn't mean that there are no difficulties. Of course, on the spiritual path, there will always be obstacles, but it shouldn't hinder you from continuing on the path. Accept it with equanimity and say, when you're going through something, it's almost like everything's falling apart. In retrospect, in hindsight, you feel it was not falling apart, it was all actually falling together.
Hmm. Earlier in this conversation, you spoke about how when you actually install the Shri Yantra in your house, you can attract negative energy as well.
Yes.
That's all I'm going to say. So what has happened?
What happens is the negative energy that you attract also gets dispelled if your sadhana is correct. So, in every place, in every space, there is always going to be the yin and the yang, the negative and the positive. But just having that image of the Shri Yantra anywhere in your workspace or in your home will dispel the negativity, at least to an extent where it doesn't cause you bodily harm.
Are there rules you're supposed to follow if you have this in your house?
Not really.
You can have it.
You can have it. See, again, it's the benign grace of a mother. Does your mother ever tell you to follow like very strict rules? You can be who you are in her presence. As long as you are not motivated by something which is completely, utterly narcissistic or selfish or inhuman. I think it's just the mother being there and taking care of us.
Because I know that there are very strict rules when it comes to keeping a shivling at home.
Mhm.
Like there's a lot of rules you're supposed to follow.
Yeah,
Which is
fathers have more rules than mothers for the children, don't they?
peyote versus ayahuasca.
Right.
Similar.
Exactly. Yes.
I've also come to realize that with ayahuasca, when we talk about the internal deity being Mother Ayahuasca, it's
Right.
probably it is related in some form to Devi Ma.
Yes.
I don't know if you've ever gone down that tangent of thought.
I have thought about it because I think when you talk about DMT, for example, the universal, it's the archetype of the Divine Mother. Even Carl Jung talks about it. It's the mother is an archetype which you really can't escape because that's where you came from. That's where creation started. So even in all the South American traditions or the Aboriginal traditions, it's always Nature is also referred to as a she. Earth is also she. So it goes without saying that everything which is potent, which is powerful, which is benign, and is not vindictive in that sense. So there are a lot of people who say, what if I get the mantras wrong? So what if you mispronounce it? She is not there sitting in judgment. That's why I feel very strongly that on the spiritual path, you should not be fearful. There is nothing to be afraid of. Just surrender. Even if there is some mistake which has been made, it's going to be overlooked in the larger scheme of things.
Hey, if you enjoyed today's clip, make sure you check out all the other clips we've uploaded on this channel. You'll find a clip related to almost every single topic as long as you're willing to search for it.